Hello, it's Lee Henkin here. So today's video going to be going through converting positive responses from cold email into booked sales meetings. In general, this is honestly fairly straightforward, just requires discipline and commitment really, and just follow up. So yeah, otherwise it's a fairly straightforward thing today. So basically, ideally, you're getting a healthy number of positive responses from your campaign. Now you need to get back to them to turn them into booked calls. So how do you do it? Long story short, first thing you want to do is make sure you reply to the prospect and their specific query. So they may have replied asking for a call straight away. Maybe they replied asking for pricing, I don't know, case studies, whatever, just depends. Either way, address their specific query. Secondly, make sure you agree a time manually via email rather than just sending over like a scheduling link. I've personally found this to be more effective at getting more positive responses to turn into booked sales meetings. I haven't noticed a huge difference, but I have noticed a slight difference with it. So in general, I recommend at least agreeing a time manually via email. And then once you've agreed that time, to just simply add it into Calendly. Reason you want to do that because into something like Calendly is because then you have all your kind of booked calls in just a structured kind of one place. Calendly is really good for setting up automated reminders via email, SMS, workflows, which is definitely what you want to set up as well. So it's just a really good tool to manage all your bookings, plus just reduce no-shows basically, and kind of just improve the overall appointment setting experience for the prospect. So that's what I recommend to do. And lastly, basically follow up if they're unresponsive. So you're going to get, you're going to have to do follow-ups, just the way it works. Okay, some people will reply straight away and agree a time with you. Some people will reply to your other query or response and then go from there. It's just, but then others will just be a bit more unresponsive. So in general, you're going to have to follow up a bit when you're doing cold email just to convert those opportunities. It's just the way it works. I mean, after all, you're reaching out to strangers on the internet who have never heard of you before. So it's going to depend though as well. One of the really important things to be aware of, I typically classify prospect responses or positive responses via hot interested or warm interested. So, a hot interested response is like someone who replies to your cold email and they're just, they're ready to jump on a call. They've told you to call them, told you they want to have a chat, to get a time scheduled, whatever. I mean, that's a high level of problem solution awareness. Basically, these are prospects that have a high buying intent. So they're the best ones, the ideal ones you want to get. Second type is what I call like warm interested. So this is a lower level of problem solution awareness. They typically want to get a bit more info. Maybe they're not as sophisticated in terms of what's out there in terms of solutions, or it's just basically they just have a lower level of awareness and sophistication basically. So they generally want to know more info first before they're committing to a call. The best way with these is, use things like content and stuff like that to kind of build your credibility and authority in your follow-ups. I've personally found that to be quite a good way to convert those initial lukewarm, interested responses into booked calls. Okay, so that's how that works. All right, so there's generally those two types of responses. It's basically fairly straightforward. As I mentioned, you really just follow this process here, this A, B, C, D, and then just follow up for all the ones that are unresponsive. The reason most people are not very good at this is mainly because of this section D here. They just don't follow up enough. They follow up once or twice and then complain about leads not wanting to get on a call with them or not being good quality, blah, blah. And then it's really just because they don't follow up enough. So yeah, that's really important. It's fairly straightforward otherwise. One thing that'll make this easier for you is just having a structured follow-up process. Okay, so something like this. So, you kind of want to map it out. Maybe you have like the first couple follow-ups via email, then you're going to connect via LinkedIn. If you do connect with them, you can send them a message if they're still unresponsive to your emails, or you can send in mail if they didn't accept your connection, or you just don't want to connect with them on LinkedIn. And then probably the best is warm calling, to be honest. I mean, a lot of companies I've worked with that do really well with converting interested responses from cold email into booked meetings are heavily doing warm calling. Like, I've worked with a lot of companies with, business development manager or whatever, and part of their responsibility is to warm call interested leads we get from cold email campaigns. They pretty much always kill it. So that's just something wanted to point out and highly recommend. In general, though, I'd definitely recommend to start with do a couple follow-ups via email, maybe 2-3 over the course of a couple weeks, and also try LinkedIn. If they're still not getting back to you via email and LinkedIn, then definitely start banging the phones. I can guarantee you that's going to increase your booking rate, and most people don't do it. And last but not least, track everything in a CRM. I mean, you can use HubSpot Sales free version to do this. Very easy to do. There's a million CRMs out there you can use, so just do your own research and work out what's going to be best for you based on your own circumstances. So that's pretty much it. It's really not that difficult to convert positive responses from cold email into booked sales meetings. Like I said, you just got to be kind of basically disciplined and committed, honestly, and that's pretty much really the only thing that'll stop you doing this effectively. So yeah, if you're committed and you're disciplined with how you do it, there should not be any reason to not turn positive responses into booked meetings, at least a portion of them, because these people, they're responding interested to a cold email to someone and a business they've never heard of. So there is interest there. Okay, it's very high interest. So you just make sure you follow up, that you're disciplined and committed with it, and you will convert a percentage into booked sales meetings. Not all of them. Important I point that out. Anyone who says they're converting all the positive responses into booked sales meetings is not being honest, but you should be able to convert a healthy percentage if you do this right. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps. Good luck. Make sure you follow up and book some sales meetings.